Hello and welcome my good students back to our War on the Sea Let's Play series as the Imperial Japanese Navy, and we are starting today with quite a few nasty situations to sort out, aren't we? From the most basic situation, we have an enemy, I imagine that's a submarine, spotted as ever around Saipan and Guam. Not to worry there, we might want to once again split our destroyers from our Guam Defence Task Force and back them up by some Emily's later. Doesn't sound like a bad idea actually. Let's guess on that before I forget. Might be a good idea. We shall take we'll take 3 destroyers there. So if we split that group up, lovely stuff. And we will push in like that. So that's Task Force 121 at the moment. So if we go to Saipan, New Air, Emily's as ever, these should be the machines really to take on that submarine there. Right at the bottom there, 121. Lovely stuff. Hopefully we'll be able to get on that before we lose sight of it. And before it hits our carriers, of course. The next situation is, of course, the situation at Del Monte. We are going to win that, but it's going to be a case of how many supplies and troops we burn through. We should be getting resupplied very soon, and a few of you may be wondering why the hell I've not moved our invasion supplies to early on. That's a very good question. We're going to do that right now, but I wasn't overly pressed to do that because we do, of course, have the other invasion supply task force over here ready and waiting to pick up some troops and supplies as reinforcements anyway, to keep that cycling through. So we're going to get these moving to keep that cycle a little more consistent and smooth. We are waiting with our engineering task force though to be resupplied to pick up. Of course, engineering and such, we're completely out of supplies on Kure, so we are going to have to use all of those. We're going to have to use those very smartly and intelligently here. We are going to get 7.6 thousand though, which is a massive breath of fresh air. Bit of a tongue twister that, if you're simple. We also, of course, have a couple Allied invasions on the way. We have one over here of a light carrier and a New Orleans, and of course a smattering of destroyers escorting landing craft. So we are here with our invasion support. That's going to be very slow. I doubt they're going to be able to catch up with this, so what we're going to have to do is perhaps scout this out and use, of course, our aircraft which are over here. We have 6 roofs, have some Bessies and Judies available. We did lose the Nails in the previous video. We're also going to have to launch out some Zeros to scout that out and provide air cover so that perhaps we can at least strafe or bomb some cargo ships to lessen the effects there. We do have a lot of troops on Puerto Princesa, but not the supplies to actually support them. We also have another invasion around here. This is where it was last sighted, but it has been some time since that was last sighted. We are sat right on top of Okinawa expecting them to try and get in there, but otherwise we're going to have to scout around Kaohsiung and Keelung over here to see if they go for that, because I highly doubt they're going to go for Saipan at the moment, and we would well have spotted it by now. Do have our minor resupply task force coming in with some engineering and fuel and such, and supplies, of course, for truck, because that is rather low on engineering and fuel specifically. We weren't able to actually, where are we with our task force over here? With ground defense, we didn't actually resupply, but what we could do now is move those closer to truck, and we should be able to really just detach a few ships and stock up on our heavy cruisers and such to make that worthwhile there. We'll be able to put those into direct action a bit easier there. I do spot something over here. I'd imagine that is a submarine. Over at Midway we haven't sighted enemy carriers yet either, which is rather a bother, unfortunately. We are keeping an eye out otherwise for them. I do want to find them. So the goal for today is sort out our invasions over here, perhaps land on Cebu, and certainly look at the Allied invasions coming in at both the Philippines and northwards to Iwo Jima there. So let's have a look. They might have just reinforced it, you never know, but that's quite a hefty reinforcement if you ask me. I don't think that's going to be the case. That's going to be offensive, or at least I would guess so. Let's double check actually on our dockyard. It's going to be 5 days until we get Yamato and Yugamo out, so that's absolutely fine indeed. Should not take any time at all. So let's get going, see what we can do today. Okay, so just after I finished speaking there, we have actually been resupplied and given back our command points. By my maths, it was day 160-ish, so yeah, that's about right. All good there, 161 really I was expecting, but that's absolutely fine. So what we want to do is just load up really, let's get straight on it. I also have some bigger news for you, so we've spotted something of course very quickly. You can probably guess what it is. Let's get some engineering out on these Wenshos. We're gonna take all of these supplies I think for the landing forces, so we're gonna really focus on engineering over here. I think get that rolling out so that we don't have a stockpile out there for no particular reason. On Kure, going to take all the fuel we can eat as well. We will take the tiniest bit of supplies as well on our destroyers. We will move them, try and move them safely down here. We want them to go really to trucks, so just move them via Guam. Move these a little more succinctly over here because we're just losing sight of this sub. But let's get to the meat of this report. Where the bloody hell are we? Right, so over here. So we have launched, this is the convoy of course that we spotted previously. Saying there's a battleship in there, that's just the fog of war low intelligence over there. We didn't sight a battleship previously when we saw that. So we've launched out, we only have 6 available Vals and 9 Kates. So I've gone for the Kates with torpedoes so that we are more likely to sink a ship with those. And I have, of course, launched out our flight of Zeros to scouse out for that. So they're coming back in. We have some roofs as well to help out with the air combats there. And we have launched out some Judies with 800 kilogram HE bombs. HE bombs specifically because we are thinking about focusing the cargo ships, of course. So they're moving out. Going to go straight into that. We don't need the marker there anymore. We can have sights there. And I'm thinking of actually using some command points here, not only to reinforce invasion support with a Fuso or second Issei, but also to bring out some more Fubikis and cycle them round after we've dealt with the destroyer or submarine rather here, because we do have a damaged Fubiki rather heavily over here. Like I said previously, the integrity of the damaged components not too bad at all. But I don't really like sitting there with so many damaged components on a destroyer. They are very much limited with the Japanese Navy, as you well know. So let's keep going, see if we can hit this today, shall we? Okay, so we are of course in range of that convoy task force, and it's bigger than I remember, so we do have a lot of targets to hit here. This is a full 10 stack, so it's not so bad, you know, and it couldn't be much better, could it? But let's review again what they have here. They have a lot, of course, cargo ships, as we did say, so we're going to want to I think focus this Arcturus here and this Crater for now. These will be the heavier supply and troop focused ships. We do, of course, we have a hospital ship over here on number 7. We do indeed. That will, of course, carry more troops rather than supplies, if I remember correctly. So might want to hit that, you know, keeping in character as the Japanese. And of course, we do have this Bogue to worry about and New Orleans for AA fire here. Now, we did sight some patrolling aircraft around our submarine nearby, so naively hoping that that's from the Bogue here, but we are going to keep our Zeros in reserve as our attack aircraft come around. Going to use these Zeros to flank around, keep them close to our Kates, I think. We'll take a couple groups over there and help out with them. Our Kates might want to dive down and hit, there's a C2 or Harris here. That's going to be rather juicy indeed. I think we're going to take 2 groups to hit the number 8 here, and we're going to take another to hit the number 6 over here. So let's do that. Let's curl around and dive down. Target the number 8 here. We'll go straight down to a 40 meters altitude there. That's so that I don't have to think about fiddling around later. Just makes things a lot simpler. After, you know, I do have rather a smooth brain, so it's all good there. Let's go to 40 meters here and target number 6. We will get the roofs, I think, around here as well on top of the Judies to keep them around. We don't have fire at will active, as you might notice, just in case something does pop up, but also so we have more control later on. We'll circle around with the Zeros over here as well. The Judies, I think it's best to just assume they're not all going to hit, so we're going to just get the Judies on top of the number 5 here, and we will certainly tell those. Actually, we're not going to tell them to attack straight away. We're going to tell them to come round from the flank there, like so. Let's carry on, see how that goes. We're going to compress time as we move in and see if we do actually spot any enemy aircraft. If we don't, that's absolutely brilliant. We'll have pretty much free reign here to do as we fancy. But it's never exactly easy, is it? Never exactly easy. So we are going to tell the Judies to break and attack from here. I think that's not a bad idea at all. Do only have 6 of them. Let's actually target the number 5 there. Break and attack there. All good. We are all attacking here, aren't we? Excellent. So if there aren't any enemy aircraft, we'll want to form up our zeros specifically into one large group and finish off anything we don't hit with our attack aircraft, of course. Going to slow down a tab with our Kates and tell everyone to attack. We are just going to use formation attacks here. There's no need to do anything too fancy against these cargo ships here. I think we're decently leading that as well. So the Judies will be coming into dive very soon. Okay, so we're just waiting for our roofs and zeros to regroup and come in for some strafing runs. You can see the Arcturus over here not having a great time with its pathing, which is good for us because that did only take the 1 active bomb hit. It did take 2 bombs. One of them was a dud, unfortunately, as of course it is. But we did only lose the 1 Judy in that particular strike, so that is very, very nice indeed. Which will mean that our Kates can go back to our carrier rather safely. They are out of the engagement zone already, so we're going to have to think about what we want to do with these planes here. I think the roofs should go over towards the Arcturus here, which is burning, of course. We'll dive down a tad more there to get a decent altitude for that. The zeros want to go for the number 6 to really finish that off, so we are going to move those over towards there and once again dive down a tad more. I'm hoping really they focus the roofs if anything. We are going to keep these at a fairly high speed when they strafe in, just so that they can keep in line with the zeros there, and I don't think we'll take too much to finish this off. It is of course heavily on fire there. I think we'll tell them to come in right now. Zeros we will slow down to get some more shots on target there. You can see that the destroyer there, we should probably be taking that on as well. Lost a 0 to that, unfortunately. I'm going to slow down a tad here. At about half speed, come in and attack there. How are we doing with these roofs? Lost one there. Is that going to be enough to finish it off? Having second thoughts now. I have to see. It's not looking too bad. Probably should have slowed down a bit, but that's got the fires back up, so it's not to worry too much there. I'm going to lose those otherwise though, so we're going to form up, or don't need to form up, it's just the 1 roof now. Just get their altitude up and come out. How are we looking over here? Very nice indeed, very, very nice indeed. In fact, a cargo explosion on that ship, which is excellent. So we're going to form up over here once again, and we're going to try... Does this one need a second run? Let's have a look. So on critical to heavy, that might well need something, but I do want to sink another ship here just to reinforce the idea that we're not messing around. I want to go for the hospital ship over here. So let's turn around for that, I think. It's going to be very dangerous with all the enemy ships about, unfortunately. Maybe we should have gone for the carrier at least, but that's not really a direct threat in itself, being an escort carrier. Really the threat it brought was, of course, the protective fighters for it. And they're not being a problem, are they? Let's compress some time for this long turn here. Slow down a tad. And attack from here, I think. I think it's possible to strafe down a escort carrier like that. So let's have a look at their general armor. I think it's very, very low indeed. Yeah, 0 armor on this. The Independence will have some, but the Casablanca and Bogue do not. Rather interesting there. There we go. That's looking very nice indeed, and that's right on the path for the number 5. So what we're going to do is form up once again, and we're going to keep our speed a tad low if possible. Tell them to attack in just a second when we get a little closer. Get our speed on track, and let's go straight in. Make sure that does in fact sink. We can get 3 ships here. That would be amazing. Yeah, that's definitely going down. That has sunk immediately as that magazine explosion hit, and that is excellent. Let's get our zeros up and out for now. They can circle round and see exactly what's happening there. The hospital ship's gone down, which is excellent. Do we want to risk any more 0 losses? That's the question, to perhaps go for the Arthur Middleton here. What else do we have here that could drop off supplies? Perhaps a destroyer, but you know, a couple destroyers. And this, I believe this is more of a supply carrier. Arthur Middleton might well be it as well. I think if these do land on Puerto Princesa, it's not so much of a bother now, because we do have, again, 6,000 troops and a couple thousand supplies. Sinking these 4 ships here will be a massive blow to that invasion force. So I think we can risk now an invasion on Puerto Princesa. I don't want to lose any more planes, so we are going to get out of there. Okay, so we have torpedoes sighted in the water here. We have, of course, caught up with that submarine outside of Guam as such. We're just going to see... I've lost sight of the bastards. There they are. We're just going to try and move in and get a sonar contact with that ship. We're going to have to turn in here a tad and I think increase our speed. We're going to take a torpedo on the nose here, I think. I'm being very indecisive. It's very difficult to judge how those torpedoes will spread. We can see that submarine on the map now. Let's increase our turn a tad. Torpedo beats activate, please. Come on. Come on. There we go. Oh, that will do it. Let's slow down our speed now. Keep a sonar contact on that. Let's stop with this particular ship and chase with the Sasha over here, I think. That's going to keep a very slow speed indeed, because the sea state is very high at 6 with a total visibility of 45%. We do need to turn around with our Emilys. We're moving those to dive, of course, and we will, of course, target that. What do we have? We'll just abuse this to try and identify the ship. So identify it as a Tambor, shall we? Let's be very basic. Yeah, we're going to stop like this. Cargo can, of course, keep on going. We're going to reduce that speed, though. Help out our sonar. And yeah, we're going to just try and keep that contact going and wait for our Emilys to come in here. I think we're going to dive down a tad more though. Comes to 230 meters. We're going to increase our speed for now so we get in a bit quicker while we do have that contact working. Think increase our speed a tad here to 8 knots just to keep on top of that. We'll slow down once again so we don't overshoot here. Now the angle, as you can see, is not going to be great. It's going to be more of a broadside approach onto that submarine. Not to worry there. Now we're looking then. Start dropping. Excellent. Now how's that going to hit? Actually not too bad on that. You can see a lot of damage saturation across that ship there, which is very, very nice indeed. The submersible will not be surviving today. Let's turn it. In fact, that is straight down. That is excellent. Really, really good strike there. Managed to dodge the torpedoes, and that's an extra ship down. Let's go to the map and see exactly what that was. Where are we? It's enemy losses, of course. All the way down, if we can. So it was actually a Gato again, if we can see just here, which is rather interesting. Once again, they do of course have a hell of a lot of them, but in fact 31 in total. That's only the third we've destroyed as well. Need to keep refreshing my memory there. We are going to attach them, the Kagero and Asashio, back to Guam Defense, and we're going to take the Fubuki here all the way back to Kure to rest and repair, and bring out another, I think, to replace it. We do have Task Force 127 here. This is a Asashio class destroyer, and of course the Fuso coming down to reinforce our invasion support task force. Let's get out a that's a new air, complete opposite of what we want. We're going to get out, of course, a Fubuki. Let's see, there we go. Got quite a few of these, but a lot of them are also in commission, in active service. Let's go all the way down. Let's go via here, down to Saipan, back down to Guam Defense over there. Lovely stuff. So we haven't resighted this task force just yet. Let's see what we can do about that and actually pull out of Del Monte, because we have not done that just yet. Just make us a tad safer there, closer to our carriers. Let's roddy go. Okay, so using our submarines outside of Puerto Princesa, we have managed to track down the supply convoy which we did previously hit. It is still going for Puerto Princesa, but they have of course got their aircraft in the sky here. We have just poked up to use our periscope here, so we're going to have to down that immediately, and of course down our subs to at least 30 meters here, just so that we don't get spotted by that. Let's take a quick look on the map to see how we need to position ourselves. We need to position towards our starboard side here, and that is absolutely fine. If we increase our speed so we can do that a bit better, it is more an aerial visual threat at the moment rather than a sonar threat, so we'll see how they react to us. Hopefully they haven't seen us. The sea state is 4, so it shouldn't have been too easy, but we could just about see the refraction on the surface there when we looked up. So we need to identify the New Orleans, and we're going to try and hit the carrier as well. I know they're very, very close to actually landing, but if we can hit either of these, it should force them to retreat into our supply interceptors. So we take that, and we'll try and target the Bogue over here. Let's see. And hopefully this will be the day that we do actually hit 2 targets with both of our submarines. Let's get into position. Doesn't look like they've spotted us just yet, so wait for them to get closer, move to periscope depth, and fire out. Well, 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 that was not looking great at all with just the one hit onto the New Orleans there, but it was a very lucky hit indeed. Very central, able to get a couple secondary explosions as well, which really helped us out. So with one hit on that New Orleans, it did sink, and of course we got all of our torpedoes onto the Bogue rather successfully as well. So that only leaves 2 escorting destroyers, a fueler and another supply ship there, so we should not be in any danger at all. They won't be able to bombard Puerto Princesa to help them out. We should be able, if they do decide to push forward, to take on and defend an invasion there. So that's absolutely fine. We'll see what happens because they are very close to our we have actually gone straight past them with our task force over here. So we'll move out, try and get around to Puerto Princesa here. They were of course spotted over here, the enemies, so that's very nice indeed. There is, however, a patrolling battleship group around here. We skipped over those with our submarines here because we did have the more pressing option of the supply group there. We could have engaged them if we fancied, but I thought this was a little more pressing. So not to worry there. We'll see how the invasion on Del Monte goes. Otherwise that might be enough action for one day. We shall see what happens with this invasion group. Want to get that out of the way. Let's go. Okay, so we have come into contact with that supposed battleship task force. I've not scouted it out previously, so let's see what we have over here leading the formation. Oh, okay, so it is the Renown class over here. Very, very interesting indeed. This might be the group we saw skulking around Truck previously, if you do remember. I think we don't want to go for the battleship here, unfortunately. I think really the light cruisers are what we want to go for here. And that's going to take me a little bit of time to identify them. I think we will only go for the one here, just because it's not the most threatening task force. I wouldn't mind saving some torpedoes for something a little heavier, really. Let's go to, could it be an Emerald or an Enterprise? It's looking a little more like an Enterprise at the moment, or is it? I think it's looking like an Emerald actually. Let's identify it as that and see how our solution goes from there, shall we? We will only fire out with the one submarine, so that's not to worry. We'll dive down with this. We'll go down to 50 meters rather. Break off so that we don't need to worry about movement, and we'll stay in silence there. With this particular ship, I think we will just stay here and watch our solution here. We'll get 4 torpedoes out. How many do we have in stock? Only 6 in stock, so we'll need to resupply after this. How about this submarine? We have 7, so I think after this strike we will go back to resupply anyway, depending on what else we can pick up. So the solution here is guessing there. It would suggest that it is an Emerald so far. It's getting very high. Very high indeed. So that's not too bad again. 99. That's brilliant. So what lead are we going to take? Let's try and wait for a 15-degree lead. They have some scout planes. That's not good. We need to go right down. It's not going to help. What is this? Ooh, okay. Okay. Has some bombers out here. Those will be from Manila. Needs to be very careful then if that's the case. Let's reduce our speed because we are getting very close to them. In fact, we'll stay stationary here. Are they going to circle round those planes? I hope not, because we need to periscope depth very quickly here. We're at periscope depth. We are indeed. What lead do we have? A 9-degree lead, but that will be absolutely fine at a 1-degree spread there. No point in spreading us out even wider because we are so close. We're 2.2 kilometers away from them. There we go, we are firing out there. That'll be the last of the torpedoes. Don't have our periscope up, so let's just dive down and go to silent. And we will of course very slowly crawl out there. If we can, we'll go and try and go to the flank of their destroyers there, but it's going to be very difficult. Very, very difficult indeed. Let's see how this goes. With that lead there, if we do miss, it's still not going to get a collateral onto the battleship there, unfortunately. So this does need to hit. And there we go, an emerald has been successfully sunk. Let's double check that was in fact an emerald. Let's go over here and see this. Yeah, that was actually the only emerald, of course. So that's quite a nice little win there for us. So we won't be seeing one of those again at all. That only leaves one enterprise left. And of course I have a few Danes of course as well. So it's not bad at all. That means the Philippines are that much more secure for us. We're not in danger of any reinforcements to Del Monte or an invasion on Puerto Princesa. We did see the enemies retreat more northerly over here, which is an interesting path for them to take. But I'm not going to chase them right now. We're going to try and avoid that battleship task force. So I think we're going to want to retreat southerly actually. It's going to put us in range of that airfield there, but it is getting close to our nighttime hours, so they shouldn't be able to spot us there, and that'll mean our incoming Fuso and destroyer supports will be helping us soon enough. We are going to move out with our supply interceptors too, because I would have expected to see that Iwo Jima bound task force over here by now, and pushing them out here does of course extend the scouting coming off of them, so that's not bad at all. We do of course have some, what do we have? We have a couple submersibles over here. But I think that is enough action for one day, guys. I hope that has filled your War on the Sea void for one day at least. Thank you very much for watching once again. Been a pleasure to host you as ever. I shall see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope all of your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.